Alright, what's up guys? So this is the 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road package. Hopefully you guys can hear me over that that diesel back there. But anyway, let's get started. I'm gonna basically do a walk around. I'll go over a few of the facts and what I like about it. This color is called Blue Crush, and it's actually pretty cool. So this is not the navy blue that you're used to. I think it's nautical blue metallic if I recall correctly. I had that on my 4Runner previously, and they look similar in the dark, but in the light, this is like more of a purplish blue. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, here's a side profile. Walk around the back here. Show you all this. All right. So I'll go back around to the front, give you a few facts, and then start pointing them out. So yeah, this starts at $42,200 in this trim level. Obviously it goes up from there as you add options, bigger screens, stuff like that, different wheel and tire packages, lifts, anything you want. Toyota has a lot of accessories, and obviously there's a lot of aftermarket as well. But fresh from the factory, this thing is amazing. So this has the 2.4 liter turbocharged engine. This is the iForce Max actually, so this is a hybrid setup, which is pretty cool, and I'll get to that a little bit later. This also has Bilstein monotube shocks, and there are coil springs in the rear here. I believe you can option this with leaf springs. I'm not exactly sure why you would opt for that. Me personally, I guess I wouldn't, but this does come with coil springs. As we know, a lot of the trucks come with leaf springs. But this is still a body on frame, of course. And this Tacoma actually seems to be a lot bigger than what they used to be. Not like Tundra size or anything like that, but they're pretty big for what they are. Still a smaller truck, but they're a decent size. Interior is a little cramped when it comes to the back seat, but the front has plenty of room, and I'll show you that here in a second. Okay, so let's go into the lights here. These headlights are LED. Obviously, we got the projector right there. You have LED fogs as well down here. Very nice. If you see this square thing in the middle, if you're not familiar, that's Toyota Safety Sense, and that's going to help with your adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist, all of that. So down here, you have the TRD Off-Road wheels. These are wrapped in Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws, which is one of my favorite tires. And yeah, not really all that much to see, but that's the wheel and tire setup. And again, this color is pretty nice from here. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and get inside. All right. So if you look right here, you obviously have a digital dash, digital gauge cluster, whatever you like to call it, and it's pretty good. You can change all the settings on here, so the left and right, you can change all of that to pretty much whatever. You can show your tire pressure on the right, you can show your turbo, which is like your turbo spool on the left, you can show your music in the middle. You can do a lot of different things. You can set this up probably about 10 or 15 different ways. I'm not sure the exact number, but there's a lot of settings, and I tried to keep it minimal. So if I just go ahead and click this here, it'll turn that off, and then let's dismiss this. And I just have it blank in the middle because it was a bit busy once I started putting things right there. So I like this with the speedometer in the middle up top. It's showing me that the door is open, obviously, but I dismissed that. And then you've got the turbo spool inside. So when you push this pedal, you'll see this gauge go up because the turbo is obviously spooling some. And right now I'm averaging 19.8 miles per gallon. That's been pretty consistent. But yeah, let's see if I can even show you this on camera. I'm gonna try to do this. Okay, so that's cool. Turbo spool didn't even show up on the on there, but trust me, when you're driving in gear, it does. I'm not sure why it doesn't do that when it's in park, but I don't know. That's a quirk, I guess. Shout out to Doug. Okay, now we'll go to the center console. Center console is actually kind of busy. I don't know exactly any other word for that. I think the center console is somewhat nicely laid out, but has a lot going on in real life, so it doesn't look complicated until you're in the car. There are two cup holders down here, right? This shift knob here, the TRD, that's pretty nice. You have your multi-terrain select. Down here you also have your 4 low, 4 high, and then 2 high, which is obviously what you're driving full time, unless you need 4-wheel drive, right? Okay, so now this is where it gets complicated. You have like a pocket down here, which to me is a bit like just oddly placed, and it is deep, but it's just kind of awkward. like, you know, to put anything in there, you have to really reach around this handle here, and you're all the way in there. I don't know what you'd put. Maybe a wallet, that's okay, but it's an L-shaped pocket. So when you go back here, well, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, you see how this is like an L-shaped cave, right? I guess there's some things you can put down there, but I'd say wallet and phones kind of get lost. They shake around. It's not really a size for either of those two items, but they do work. Back here, this is where you could put your phone, but once you plug it in, you can't really set it down, if that makes sense. So I know I might sound like I'm being like nitpicky or something, but I'm trying to explain that it's a bit awkward when you're actually using it. So when I put my phone here, I don't even plug it in. If I do plug it in, I have to turn upside down, and then the cord is like hitting right here. So that's not really ideal. I think there should have been a better spot for that, but in reality, I do use a phone mount typically. So I guess that's a non-issue for me in most cases, but just something to note when you're looking at the center console. Otherwise, it's laid out nicely. The buttons are nice. Everything works well, but it's just a bit awkward of a setup in my opinion. Now, we'll go to the AC controls, HVAC controls, all of that. They're great. Toyota's pretty much famous for their huge dials, and yeah, that's really all I can say. I mean, you can use it with gloves. I mean, you can do anything you need to. So if you're in a cold weather climate, or you're, anything like that, it's easy to navigate. You don't have to worry about the touch screen to control your AC, and that's a huge plus. The switches down here as well are obviously legit. They're not like touch feedback or anything like that. They are literally buttons, so up and down. But yeah, the start stop button right here, or I should say power button, is pretty cool. I'm not really pointing at it on camera, but it's right there. That's a good position. It's up higher. A lot of the other trucks and cars have them down here, just kind of hidden, and it's nice having right there in plain sight. I'd also say that this pocket here is a bit weird. I have no idea what you'd actually put there. I think they said that that's actually for the trailer brake, so that's just like, since this doesn't have that, it's just a weird pocket that doesn't really fit anything. Maybe some chapstick. I don't think it'll stay in there though. It'll probably roll out, but anyway, that's just me complaining, I guess. The cloth seats, they're actually pretty nice. I'm not necessarily typically a cloth seat kind of guy, but I know a lot of guys prefer those. They tend to be more comfortable to a lot of people, and they are very comfortable. I worry about, if I spill anything on them, it's hard to get out, and I just prefer leather or Softex. But another cool feature about this interior is this blue trim here. So this isn't some plastic brand new car, need to take this off, and it's actually stainless. This is actually blue, permanently blue, and then there's the Tacoma right there, etched into there. That's pretty cool. Above that, there's a shelf, and you can put your phone wallet there, stuff like that. Keys, obviously, this is push to start, so you can throw your keys up there if you want. That's not a bad place for them. But yeah, it's a cool little spot, cool little shelf for your passengers, or even you. This door card actually has a pocket halfway up, which is nice. That's also good for passengers to put their wallet, phone, whatever they want to put there. And then there's obviously down here, there's cup holders, which I love. Toyota does this all the time, and down here there are 3 cup holders, and there's also one on the driver door as well. So that's the front seat. We'll go to the back seat now. Okay, the back seat. Now this is where I can tell you why there is no room back here. That's just me being honest. There is really no room back here. This is okay, I guess, if you have children in car seats maybe, where they don't need the leg room. But other than that, you're going to be cramped. Even if you're not 6'5", you're not going to sit behind someone who's even, let's say, 5'4". So if your wife is 5'4", or something like that, and she's got the kids in the back, well, unless they're really truly kids, they're not probably going to be too comfortable back here. Seats are comfortable. They're pretty upright, of course, but leg room pretty much non-existent. Okay, so obviously we'll go to the bed. Come on now. You're buying a small truck. You're not going to have some huge 8-foot bed or anything like that. But it does the job. You need to pick up some mulch, stuff like that. Go pick it up. That's really all I can really say about that. Otherwise, it's been a pretty cool truck. I'll explain the system here. So if you talk about the iForce Max, the iForce Max has the hybrid system that I'm referring to. The iForce Max, you can kind of drive around pretty much like in a hybrid format. It doesn't add fuel efficiency, but it does help with power. So you get more horsepower and torque out of that. But also when you're humming around the parking lot, it kind of sounds like a Prius, and it's just cruising along smooth, and it's just making that noise that I'm not going to try to imitate, but you know what I mean. And that's what it sounds like. So that's actually pretty unique for a truck, which I thought was interesting, and I actually do kind of like it when I'm just going around the parking lot and it's super quiet and chill. It's cool. And then sometimes even when you let off the pedals it even does the same. It just kind of quiets down and just zips along super quiet, and then when it needs, you know, fuel, it'll take it, it'll turn the engine back on, and then you'll be going strong again. So it's pretty unique. So you're driving a truck, and then, you know, people are looking like, dang, is that thing electric? Well, it's not electric, it's not fully electric, but it does have battery powered electric motors in here as well, in addition to this 2.4 liter turbocharged engine. So cool truck. This is just a quick walk around. I don't really have many complaints. I said what I had about it. 19.9, 19.8 miles per gallon is what I've been getting. I've seen some guys get like 22, 23, but I haven't taken this on any longer roads, you know, freeways, stuff like that. So to me, I would say this is nice. This is definitely an improvement over the previous generation. My last review was an Army Green on a Tacoma, and it was cool. I really do like the Army Green from back then, but this thing is nice. It's a lot more aggressive, and I think it'll look really great with, you know, some, you know, a lift kit, new wheels, new tires. It'll give it a little bit more aggressive stance to kind of match the way that they designed this. And I think it'll be a perfect all-around truck if you want a smaller, more nimble truck just to be able to park, especially if you live in a more congested city and not necessarily anywhere with, like, you know, rural areas or big parking or suburban areas and stuff like that. If you're somewhere where it's a bit congested but you kind of still want a truck, or even may need one for your job or just for fun, dirt bikes, anything like that, this is a good sized truck for that. But if you want a huge truck or something that hauls a lot, this isn't that. But if you want kind of something you can still commute in and not be overkill, again, the Tacoma is a great truck. There's a reason why it sells the way it does, and, you know, like I said, I really do like this update, and I think you guys will too. Thanks for watching.